my initial motivation was to connect the Tibetan Geshe that I'm friends with. I noticed there was a gap between his understanding how to uh, pronounce some words in English and us Westerners' obvious gap in understanding what he was talking about in Tibetan. And I was always fascinated with language, so I figured perfect this opportunity for me. That's one aspect, getting closer to this my Geshe Wangdu friend. And there was another point that was confusing to me when I read translations that differ, like a Western translation from one author, and it was stating something different from another translator. And I thought both translators obviously were like scholarly gentlemen, and very well versed in Tibetan, both Tibetan and Sanskrit and blah blah blah. So my question was like, why is there different meanings for these things? Why are they interpreting this Tibetan in a different way, each one? And so after learning Tibetan, I come to understand that there's not a one for one translation all the time. So that's why it differs. And also there's other deeper meanings of these Tibetan words and phrases and sentences that some authors, some Western authors, unpack for you, right? So all these things were fascinating to me, and the deeper that I got into it, the more I fell in love with it, really. And um, so I figured, let's go to the source. And Craig's dear friend and fellow teacher, Bill McGee, a while back, had some online Zoom classes that I found, and I reached out to him, and he said, "Sure, come along." So I joined those classes a couple of years back, and it turned into Craig teaching some classes. So I jumped right in. Well, obviously my vocabulary is increasing, right, in the Tibetan, and through that, I'm able to read Tibetan um, much easier than obviously a year ago or so. So it's evolved, and what's happened is that um, it seems like I'm getting closer to a deeper understanding of what the Dharma uh, terms and ideas come through the Tibetan language. So I'm able to connect with the Dharma on a much deeper level than just relying on someone's translations for me. It's almost like I'm learning to feel the points that are being stated, as opposed to just taking it for granted. Someone saying, "Oh, this is what this means." Well, a lot of times, in many cases, Tibetan words that I understand, when they're grouped together in a certain way, it has a meaning that you can't just come across with in English. Kind of opens up a deeper meaning. Initially, when I began to search out um, past the books, I searched out wanting a teacher. I live in an area in New Jersey where there are Tibetan monks and geshes that live reasonably close by, but there are not too many opportunities for me without driving a long distance to immerse myself in any kind of like program where I'd be able to learn in a classroom environment, let's say. So um, one of the good things out of the many horrible things that happened during COVID was I was able to connect through Zoom um, with, like I said before, Craig and Bill McGee and I instantly knew that I was getting close to the source of correct teaching, because um, the moment that you sit in a class with Craig, the moment he begins to speak, you can tell he knows what he's talking about. And same thing with Bill, and same thing with all the literature that is involved with these classes. It comes through that they're not rookies, and they are close to the source of Western translations of Tibetan. Look, these guys write books on the grammar. Now I'm in the classroom with the guys who literally write the books. So um, I don't see how I could possibly find a better setting for learning the stuff. Unless I went to maybe Columbia or something, right? Or doctorate program, but that's not going to happen. Well, if you look at the different um, the different levels of classes that they offer, right? From ABCs to advanced Madhyamaka philosophy, and all in between, they have a range of classes that anyone interested in um, a deeper understanding of the Dharma would easily be able to um, for instance, if you wanted to just learn the Tibetan alphabet to recognize these words, to follow prayers, let's say, um, then you can easily in a couple months learn to read and write in Tibetan. At that point, uh, you have an opportunity in the same organization, the Dharma Farm, to be able to take it to the next level, which learning grammar on a deeper level. Then if you're interested in learning how Tibetans do it in their side of it, you can learn things like the debate and format. Um, Also, they offer actually the artistic side of it, like the calligraphy side, right? So there's many, like I said, it's there's um, every possible level of um, teaching is being offered to these guys. So if you just wanted to follow along with in the prayer session with at the temple with your teacher, your geshe, or the monks, and be able to understand, follow along, do para prayer or recite mantras and stuff, and recognize it instead of just following along in the English, whatever. Um, you have a chance here to. So it's uh, uh, a newbie who's wishing to just understand Tibetan, how it's written, what it means. It looks like alien language at first, right? But slowly, if you have like a interest in going deeper, it's exhausting. There's no way around that. If you have any interest in learning Tibetan language or getting closer to a Tibetan monk that you're friendly with, that you wish to learn the Dharma on a deeper level, if you wish to unlock the deeper meanings of the Buddha's words that have been locked up in Tibet for centuries and now are just coming into the Western world in the last 50 or 60 years or whatever. This place is the epicenter for learning how Westerners can approach Dharma and in a way that the Tibetans see the Dharma, or Indians for that matter, or whoever that follow Tibetan Buddhism. You don't have to look anywhere else because it's a comprehensive center or environment where you can you can actually evolve from ABCs to Nagarjuna, really, and everything in between. So look no further. When I was a young boy, my dad and I were at a lake. It was more like the bay, right? And there was like a big slide, big diving board, and I didn't know how to swim. And I'm standing there going, I don't know how to swim. He's like, get in the water, get in the water. I was like, Dad, I don't know how to swim. I don't know how to swim. And then he like kicked me off the dock, and I'm floating, bobbing up and down. And I remember just flopping my arms and like crying to him, I can't swim, I can't swim. And he says, what are you doing? And I said, I'm swimming. He says, I thought you couldn't swim. And I said, I'm swimming, I'm swimming. So panic and tears turn into, yeah, excitement and joy. And Craig has that ability. Like, I will, I'll learn on my own, do the homework suggest. And then and then when I go to do the class with him live, um, he throws you right in the deep end of the pool where you can't swim, right? And well, what's great about it is like I go back on my own time or with friends like you Andrew, who and we go over the stuff that I'm comfortable with, and that because I was in the deep end, that's more easier to it's easier to understand um, the stuff that I'm a little bit more familiar with. So it kind of grows, you know. And he like, yeah, he kicks you down the deep end, and then on your own, you go back to the shallow end and you play around and you go, so